Patriot one.
Yeah, that's not going to work. But you know what? It really doesn't matter. I have Clarke here, and we're just a little late getting started this morning. And I've been trying my hardest to say, you know what, Eddie, early mornings need to become more your thing, and we need to start hitting them 4:30s. You know, Mr. Clarke, I told you right now just before we started the live, I said you played a major role in the way that the Patriots' prayer skin in the game ended up. I don't know if you know this, but when I attended your Las Vegas Reawaken, and there I met General Clarke. General Flynn, and many other people, which led to me meeting Nate Kane, and it just opened door after door after door with the people that I've been able to speak to. And a resounding thank you for what you do, because you played a major role in what I do every day. And that's just from the bottom of my heart, brother.
Well, I appreciate that. You know what General Flynn and I are trying to do is we're trying to save America. I know that's what you're trying to do. That's what your listeners are trying to do. And everybody out there, we got to be asking God how he can use our time and treasure and talent to save this nation. And so my lane that I'm in, or my skill set, or whatever that is I grew a very, very large entertainment company in my early 20s, from basically my dorm room to the boardroom. And it was called DJconnection.com. And I sold it and had a lot of success. But I have a skill set to organize events and to basically pull them off. And I never thought God would be using my skill set or talent or whatever that is to do a Reawaken tour. I certainly never thought we would let people name their price. But that's really where I feel like we're at right now. I think we're at a critical juncture in our nation. And so General Flynn and I are doing these events. Our next event, our final confirmed event, is June 7th and 8th in Detroit, Michigan. June 7th and 8th in Detroit, Michigan. And the whole purpose of these events is to make the kind of connections that you're talking about here, where you meet people, new doors open. You begin to make those critical connections that we need to save our country. And for anybody out there that would like to attend, you just go to time2freeamerica.com. And again, you can name your price at time2freeamerica.com.
Well, yeah, you know, and let me turn you on to a little bit about what has taken place since the Reawaken tour in Las Vegas. So we just helped a young man out that stemmed from those connections back then, snowballed, and the butterfly effect was this. There was a young kid, Holden Armenta. I don't know if you know the name. The kid was blamed by Deadspin for wearing blackface at a Kansas City Chiefs game. Very disingenuous picture taken from a reporter who was very much a racist. So we came to the aid of this kid, and what we did was we started this, I would call it a live-a-thon, where we were live for 2 weeks, raising money to get this kid to the Super Bowl. And we were able to do that. And it was amazing to see the look on his face when we told him he was going to the Super Bowl. And he got to sit up front, and he got to celebrate when the team won. And I'll be honest with you, I give all of the glory to God, just like you said, but yeah, I give you a lot of the credit, because you know it all was a butterfly effect from what happened when we came to that Reawaken tour, and what a great time it was as well. I mean, just you know, we've touched every issue. I learned an amazing amount while being there.
I learn a lot every time as well. Every time. I mean, you know, I'm backstage, trying to organize the speakers, make sure we hit the times, make sure we're streaming properly, the lights, the security, all the details. But I learn a ton every time.
Well, a lot of those speakers, I just sat there and I took notes, and I don't usually credit myself with being like the smartest guy in the room, but I'm never the deer in the headlights with information, right? So there's only been a few times in my life where I've been caught with somebody who just floors me. Ivan Raikkonen was one of those people, and it happened several times at your tour. So, you know, I really do appreciate that. Now, do we have any plans coming to Nevada anytime in the future?
No, that will not be happening. I can tell you what is going to happen is we're going to do this final event here in Detroit, Michigan, June 7th and 8th. And then Eric Trump and General Flynn, that's sort of if there was a committee or a leadership team or whatever that is, that's who decides where we're going, when we're going. And so to my knowledge, June in Michigan will be our final event. That's because many of our speakers, Peter Navarro, Eric Trump, General Flynn, Kash Patel, et cetera. A lot of these wonderful speakers, they're joining with Trump's presidential campaign, obviously, because that's the call to action that we need to do is get President Trump in office. And so, but to the extent that they need our services or they need our support, we're going to do it. So if Eric Trump wants to do other ones, I'll do it. But June 7th and 8th in Detroit, Michigan at time2freeamerica.com. That's the final one that I know about.
I would love to be there. And it just so happens to be after a time when I have time off too. So it may just have to happen. So with that said, let's get into some of these current events, some of the things that we see happening at our border. The immigration crisis is very real. We just saw that our elected officials saw fit to join the other side and not impeach Mayorkas. What are your thoughts here? What do you see as the issue? Do you think he should have been impeached? Do you agree? Where do you fall at?
I'm going to blow your mind for a second. I encourage everyone to look this up. Assume I'm making this up, okay? The Super Bowl is actually pronounced Superb Owl.
Okay.
See, what? Superb Owl. Everyone look it up. Superb Owl. What does the word superb mean? Let's look it up. Superb. What? Superb. I thought you were talking about the border. What just happened here? Did Clay lose his mind? Is that what happened? Okay. Superb is an adjective that you would say is like a spectacular. It's an unbelievable performance. It's impressive. It's splendid, right? And the owl is, if you look up cremation of care, every year at the Bohemian Grove, they have what's called the cremation of care, where they do a mock sacrifice to Molech of a human at Bohemian Grove. Go to DuckDuckGo, look it up, Bohemian Grove.
This is real. Alex Jones actually busted Dick Gergen on the street where he admitted being a member, and he talked about the ceremony. So,
and I don't know, Wikipedia should be the arbiter of truth, but if you do a search right now for cremation of care on Google, it's listed on Wikipedia and they describe it. Okay. So when this is crazy. Once you know that the Superb Owl is what we call the Super Bowl, and at the Superb Owl, every year you have the satanic symbolism that's showcased. So this year you had Alicia Keys playing a serpent head shaped piano. You had a guitarist wearing demon horns. You had Usher performing on an Illuminati sun stage. I mean, I can go on and on. Once you see the Beyonce and the Rihanna and you kind of understand, oh, wow, we're watching the Superb Owl. Then you start to say, well, who attends this cremation of care? Who's there? Well, you just go to DuckDuckGo, type in cremation of care, type in Bohemian Grove. You're going to see that Reagan attended. Yeah. Richard Nixon attended. So now you start to say,
the list is huge.
So now you start to say, is there a uniparty? Is that what's going on? Because you would think that, like, if you were exposing the corruption of Fauci, and I'm not going to get you sued or myself sued on today's show, but I'm just going to give an example. Some of the loudest people out there exposing Fauci are the ones that have invested the most in remdesivir. Remdesivir is the COVID-19 protocol that's required that causes renal failure. It's a drug patented by George Soros and China in conjunction with Gilead Labs, Gilead Labs, and it causes renal failure. And the people that are exposing Fauci are the ones that are benefiting from the stock ownership. So you start to say, what are they doing? Well, this is what's happening. The Republicans and the Democrats get together on TV. Hollywood is sort of like a movie for less attractive people. And they go there and they argue and they fight and they get passionate and they talk about, you got to stop the invasion. Well, you stop the invasion. I'll stop the invasion. You stop the invasion. Then they argue about words. When you say invasion, that's offensive to my people. That's offensive to the people in my community. That's offensive. You're racist. You're sexist. You're homophobic. And they fight and they divide. And at the end of the day, the governor of Texas is a member of the World Economic Forum. And at the end of the day, Ronald Reagan.
You just blew my mind again. Are you saying Greg Abbott is a member of the WEF?
Yes. Crenshaw's a member of the World Economic Forum. When you start to say, well, why did Ronald Reagan go to Bohemian Grove? What? Why was Richard Nixon there? What? Now you start to say, superb owl? What are you saying? So I'm just saying is that you are seeing a great show, and the only person in recent history that stood up against the show was President Donald J. Trump and his chief economic advisor, Peter Navarro. And so if anybody goes to givesendgo.com, if you go to givesendgo.com/Navarro, Peter Navarro calls me on December 23rd. He calls me up. He says, Clarke, how are you? I said, good, brother. You okay? How's the court case coming? He says, well, I'm probably going to jail, and I need to raise $1 million between now and when I go to jail. By the way, he's going to be going to jail in 40 days. And I said to him, how's that going? Turns out the Republican Party wasn't helping Peter Navarro raise money. Sean Hannity wasn't helping Peter Navarro raise money. Rand Paul wasn't helping Peter Navarro raise money. MTG wasn't helping Peter Navarro raise money. Why? This is the guy who authored the Trump economy. Most conservatives say the reason why they're conservative is because they're economically conservative. And they say, I'm socially kind of liberal, but they're economically conservative. The guy who pushed the following three things: deregulation, lower taxation, and tough negotiation with China, Peter Navarro, guess who stood up for him? Nobody except for the American people. And so all of our listeners, your listeners, my listeners, the Reawaken America Tour listeners, wonderful people, they have shown up an average donation of $37 right now. And if you go to givesendgo.com/Navarro, givesendgo.com/Navarro, you can support a guy who refused to flip. So many of these celebrity attorneys, guess what they're doing? They're flipping on Trump. Why? Because they don't want to go to prison. So now they're doing sound bites where they're on camera. You've seen some of these female attorneys. They're going, I didn't know. Given what I know now. They kind of cry on camera, and then they get them on video. It goes viral. They apologize. They start endorsing other candidates. Meanwhile, Peter Navarro, Trump, they stood up against the uniparty, the jackassery, the godless globalists, the Marxists, the communists. And if your listeners out there want to support Peter Navarro, a guy who will not betray the American people or the oath of office he took, go to givesendgo.com/Navarro. And if you donate anything at all, and you text me proof that you've donated it to my phone number, you're entered in for a chance to win a backstage pass to the Reawaken America Tour. That's my cell phone number, 918-851-0102, 918-851-0102. I promise you, if you donate to Peter Navarro, you're going to feel good about helping out a great patriot. You're going to feel good about a chance to win a backstage pass to meet Eric and Laura Trump and so many other wonderful speakers, Mike Lindell, General Flynn, Kash Patel, etc. But it's your listeners and it's you, people that understand the jackassery and the deception of the uniparty, that are really America's only hope outside of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, and you're right. I mean, what we're looking at here is the age-old battle against good and evil. A lot more personified than what it ever has been in the past, because I believe the masks are coming off. I believe the things that were unknown are now being made known. You just talked about it, the superb owl. You talked about the Bohemian Grove. And I think that a lot of what people are seeing, what they call the uniparty, a lot of it was exposed when Matt Gaetz went after Kevin McCarthy. You only had eight people that decided to do what was right. And when I looked at the list of those 8 names, I was very shocked not to see an MTG, not to see a Lauren Boebert, not to see the people that you expected, the ones that were the loudest, to be present in that moment. So, yeah, I mean, it's very disturbing. It's like, who's the good guy? Who's the bad guy? Who is who right now? And everyone's trying to figure out who's in this uniparty, but they're great actors. They're great actors.
Yeah, and I'll just go back to the superb owl for a second. Okay. So what did we see? We saw Usher perform. What did Usher get up and do? First thing when he performed, he said, thank God. He wanted to thank God for the opportunity. Well, what God is he thanking?
I ask that question all the time.
So this is a guy, look up, everyone needs to look it up right now. Look at Usher's neck. Everyone go to YouTube right now and type in Usher's neck. Everybody go to Google, type in Usher's neck. And when you type in Usher's neck, you're going to see his tattoo, and he has his Usher neck. Type in Usher's neck tattoo. Everybody type it in right now. I'm giving you a second, folks. Go to Google, type in Usher's neck tattoo. Click enter, click on images. You'll see it. Homeboy has a tattoo on his neck of the Illuminati all-seeing eye on his neck, under his chin. Come on now. I mean, this is the guy, he said he went to Puff Daddy's Flava camp to see the lifestyle. The same Puff Daddy that took Justin Bieber under his mentorship wing. The same Puff Daddy who says he takes his mother to strip clubs. The same Puff Daddy who has what he calls freak-offs. The same, I mean, come on now. So, I mean, you're starting to see, but he can get up there and say, praise God or thank God. And the average person who's
what God are they talking about? You know, I mean, what God are they talking about? I don't look at the words of people. I look at the actions of folks. And if you step back and you get out of the forest and you can see the trees, you'll see exactly what you're talking about. I was watching the girl that was sitting next to Taylor Swift. Looked like she had an upside down cross around her neck. And she was doing some weird things with her hands that looked very suspicious. It looked like the guy sitting on the side in the movie Harry Potter that was putting a spell on Harry as he was trying to get the little golden finch. It literally looked like that. And it's very strange to us to see that the imagery is very satanic. And a lot of the things that we look past every day, that we saw every day, that like you just said, the things are being now, what God said in the last days, there will be a pouring out of knowledge.
Correct.
I think that's what we're seeing. We're seeing
We are seeing it. You're 100% correct. And I just think everybody out there needs to listen to shows like yours more. I mean, what you're doing here on the Patriots Prayer Show is you're actually looking at the news of the day from a Judeo-Christian perspective. You're seeking God first. And again, the Bible is the ultimate source of truth. So I'm going to just give about 5 or 6 knowledge bombs that hopefully can wake people up to the profundity of the times in which we are living. So Revelation chapter 16, verse 12 through 14, in the controversial book known as the Bible, Revelation chapter 16, verse 12 through 14, it states that when the Euphrates River dries up, the false prophet will show up and China and Russia will team up. And that's what's happening. Right. It's happening. Exactly right. It's not where it could happen. It is happening. It is happening. It's happening. Right. And I just don't think most people know that. I think most people are not aware of that. They don't know that, but that's a real thing. And again, I encourage everybody out there to look that up. Revelation chapter 16, verse 12 through 14. Then go to Google and type in MIT quantum dot. MIT's developed the quantum dot. The quantum dot is what stores your medical and financial records under your skin. And that technology was funded by Bill Gates and Jeffrey Epstein. It's called the MIT quantum dot. Also look up the MIT CBDCs, and the MIT quantum dot. So MIT, which was funded by Jeffrey Epstein, the world's most prolific pedophile who put a temple on his island to pray to Satan, and Bill Gates, a man who has a satanic spiritual advisor by the name of Marina Abramovich, by the way, the same as satanic and spiritual advisor who works with Zelensky in Ukraine. The people that funded the creation of what is the mark of the beast technology are Satan worshipers. This just in. That's Revelation chapter 13, verse 16 through 18. What? Yes, in front of the United Nations. Why don't we go to the United Nations? Let's go. Everybody get out your Nazi. Let's look it up. Let's go to the United Nations. Everybody, we're going to the United Nations, and we're going to go ahead. We're going there right now. We're going to go to Google. We're going to type in 666 United Nations Plaza. 666 United Nations Plaza, New York, New York. Look it up, folks. 666 United Nations Plaza, New York, New York, 10017. There it is. That's their address. And in front of there, you're going to find a statue called the Guardian of the Nations statue, which is Revelation chapter 13, verse 2. What? And then if you open the book of Daniel, you're going to see that Daniel had a prophecy that the fourth kingdom, where there'd be a time where people would try to mix the miry clay with the iron, a.k.a. transhumanism. And now Klaus Schwab is trying to mix man with machine through what he calls the fourth industrial revolution. It is all coming to pass. It's happening.
What do you? And I know you're very studied and you understand these things. Harari, who was very close to Klaus Schwab, talked about hacking the human brain. And so I'm starting to think that they have excelled in this arena a little further than what most people understand that they have. And I'm not quite sure how, and nor do I understand it. But they're talking about these things as if they're fact.
Yeah, well, okay. Inside the COVID-19 shots, there's graphene. And graphene is the key component needed to make quantum technology. It's called graphene. And inside the COVID-19 shots, there is graphene. And a guy by the name of Charles Lieber If you go to time2freeamerica.com/revelation, you can read his patents at time2freeamerica.com/revelation. Charles Lieber is a Harvard scientist that got paid $50,000 a month to create RNA modifying nanotechnology featuring graphene that goes under the skin. Follow me, folks. So graphene is now under the skin, and graphene is the basis of quantum technology. And the name of the Mark of the Beast technology is called quant.network. Look at the website, quant.network, and the quantum dot. Look it up, folks, quant.network. Quantum dot, come on now. And so what we're seeing is programmable central bank digital currency being ushered in right now. This is, again, it's programmable gold-backed central bank digital currency. BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, they are wrestling away from the US dollar. They were joined on January 1st by Iran, Egypt, Ethiopia, Saudi Arabia, and Putin is now the head of BRICS, and they are looking to add 25 additional countries this year. They've built a physical bank in Shanghai, China, called the New Development Bank, New Development Bank based in Shanghai, China, which will implement what's just called a social credit score system, or programmable money, non-binary money that can be programmed based upon your adherence to a social narrative as opposed to the merits of your work ethic. So that's what's going on right now.
Similar to the way China operates right now.
Yeah, we're talking about Mark of the Beast technology.
Yeah, it's not going to change. I think it's only going to get worse. I have people tell me all the time, like, you're fighting a losing battle, and I tell them all the time, I'm not fighting a losing battle. Matter of fact, I know how the battle ends up. It may get worse before it gets better. But even if I were to know that I was going to lose, it wouldn't hinder my fight whatsoever. I'd rather go down. I'd rather look myself in the face at the end of my life and know that I fought a good fight and I ran with the wins. So no matter what that means, that we're not going to get off the path. We're going to fight. I think there's going to come a time in the future, because my Bible says so, where people who speak the way we do may have to go a little more underground. We don't know what that looks like. We don't know what our country looks like in 15 years beyond Trump. We have no idea. This uniparty is very real, and it's scary. And I would just urge people to find God in your life and definitely seek Him with all your might, and ask Him to open your eyes. And definitely listen to people like Mr. Clarke here, who is well versed and well studied. And I really do hope that here in the next month or two that I'm able to see you again. But what do things look like for you beyond June? I
don't know. I have a very different maybe world outlook than a lot of individuals. And at least when I talk to people, they tell me that I perceive the world differently than they do. I have businesses that I run that I'm excited about, that every single day I go to bed at 9, I wake up at 3, I come to work, excited to work. That's what I like to do. And the Reawaken Tour is kind of become my secret plan to lose a lot of money quickly. And so these Reawaken American Tour events, I let people name their price, and you've been to the events. They're put on with first-class audio, visual, security, speakers, 70 speakers over 2 days. And we let people name their price, not because I'm trying to get rich, not because I'm trying to become famous. It's because I'm trying to save our country, right? And so people like your listeners understand that. You understand that there's an urgency to it. And so I put all my focus on that event. So if you go to time2freeamerica.com, June 7th and 8th, that's what I'm focused on. Now, that being said, I got a call yesterday, and I can't tell you who called me and what it was, but I'll just give people kind of a little bit of a vague summary. And they said, would you be willing to do ABC 1, 2, 3? And it was a pretty big ask. It would cost me a lot of money, would require 1 week of my time, and it would make a big impact on the national stage, but it would require a lot of time, a lot of money, no compensation. And I'm down, right? I'm down. I'm going to do it, but that's a lot of planning. That's what they just asked for. It's like a 30-second conversation, 60-second conversation. And that would create, I'm not kidding, 7 days on the ground doing an event that would be like a major impact that everybody in America would be talking about. And I said, yeah, I'm totally willing to do it, And they go, oh, yeah, well, let's talk about it. So that's kind of the world I'm in there, is I'm just willing to do whatever it takes. And so I don't plan beyond just the event we're doing. But I just, and then if that event that I was just asked to participate in, not as an organizer, but as a participant in, but in more of like an MC kind of role, if that happens, then, I got 7 days of my life. I now have to I have 5 kids and I have multiple companies. So now I have to reorganize my day. I already get up at 3 and go to bed at 9 and work nonstop on this. So then I have to figure out, okay, how am I going to rearrange my schedule to make it work? And I'll make it work. All I'm just saying is I kind of just am myopically focused on the Detroit, Michigan Reawaken America Tour event. And, Jim Brewer will be there, Roseanne. It's going to be the biggest lineup we've ever had. And you can get those tickets at any price you want to pay at time2freeamerica.com.
So it's sort of like a Woodstock meets Reawaken tour thing.
Yeah, exactly. That's 100% right.
There you go. So, hey, I really do appreciate you taking the time. And for those of you watching, listening, go and support Peter Navarro. Stand for those people who stand for you. Fight for those people who fight for you. If you are one of the people like me who constantly complain about the Uniparty and you don't like the way things are, be intentional about changing it and finding out how to do that and participating and changing it for the better. Clay, is there anything you want to say before we get out of here, sir?
No, I just say thank you for your time. Thank you for your attention. And I encourage everybody out there today, go to time2freeamerica.com /Alex, time2freeamerica.com /Alex. And when you go to that page, time2freeamerica.com /Alex, I have documented 119 prophetic events that the Bible said would in fact take place before his return. I didn't write that to scare. I wrote that to prepare. The Bible was not written to scare. The Bible was written to prepare. And the Bible, just so we're very, very clear, the Bible, 27% of the Bible is prophetic. 27% of the Bible is prophetic and 73% of the Bible is historical. So I encourage everybody, if you want to know about the future, read the Bible and go to time2freeamerica.com /Alex to find 119 biblical events that the Bible said that would happen that are happening right now.
Well, I appreciate you taking the time. And if you'll hang around just a minute before we get out of here, I'd like to say a few parting words for you before we go. But in the meantime, the silent majority, you need to stop being silent. Stand your ground. We'll see you next time on the Patriots Prayer.
My people of this country and we're under attack. They banning us, they cancel us for speaking the facts. If you man enough, come stand with us, take USA back. And every time we pull up, all you're gonna see is a